A thorn in the flesh, a revolution between my thighs. Hadassah Israel 2:14. While I agree she says your silence will protect you, I haven't quite figured out the best way to articulate a grammar of suffering to the listener. They either reject, ignore, or make it second to their more pressing paramount things to discuss. I guess the next option should be to find a cry that rings like music to their ears, something they can't ignore or shake. I'm like schisms to their movement, and even with scathes, I try to create an identity of self antithetical to the packaged spoon-fed image they want me to be. The story of me, a woman of brown melanin in America, reads too many horrid chapters, and for the sake of solidarity, I should be quiet. For the sake of my race, my body should be quiet, except my legs, when they need to be open to talk. Such vanity I project, talking about the pains that would hurt me, the malignant, cancerous disease they perceive me to be. Ain't no way I can produce self-love, substance, and spirituality unless you give it. Guess I need you to teach me how to do that. They all have polluted this voice box, dissected, commodified, exploited my body, and now anything I want to do with it is bad. It's criminal, it's self-hate, but I heard they want to legalize it. For what? So they can tax my vagina? Give it a new number of value? If it ain't what you say it should be, what it should look like, what it should represent so your eyes can feast on it, made palatable for your consumption. It's just illegal, it's so damn criminal. But I got a remedy. Madonna Whore can make that phylogeny. For over 2,000 years, there's been an attempt to make sure I'm never seen as a viable candidate, that I am never selected.
Sex was in the United States historically racialized with needing implications for black women for the Civil War. Black women and girls were sexual slaves in the post-felon years. They were sexually terrorized by white males. Black women who work as prostitutes, sexual laborers exist under different constraints than those of women in general who live as sexual objects. Like females have existed as sexual authority in service of whites and service of codified under slavery, criminalized under emancipation. Just as the most severe penalties for rape convictions targeted black males, but proportionally arrests for prostitution targeted black females. But least were more likely to arrest black women in the company of white men, whereas white men who did not generally appear in the public company of black men approached white men around to save them. Like white prostitutes attempted to have harassed housing prostitutes and black women enforced into the lower levels of prostitution, where the three black females who were not engaged in any harassment police or any crime had been committed around black females who were related by sexual vice and high disability. Black women prostitute spirits their low visibility as victims of sexual assault punishment was as selective and discriminatory as police and tried to demanded rights from black women while ignoring judgments who abuse of prostitution and generally serve white men who expect black people to be sexually freer than white females. Sexual violence is a routine occupational hazard in prostitution. Sexual indifference is separate from the woman's violation of conventional sexual norms and from notions of poverty and contract tied to the white male given the social inequities favoring U.S. prostitution. It's not surprising that most police target prostitution while ignoring their customers. Black women investigated over prostitution tended to find themselves confronting sexual violence in other areas of employment. African American women are generally cautioned of female adolescents to avoid work as household or domestic services for proximity to white families, increase the likelihood of sexual abuse. However, the North proved to be the upside, making African American women vulnerable to abuse through job segregation, low wages, and not only in domestic service factories, prisons, sweatshops, and agricultural fields. Look over 2012. The material of black women has lascivious. Like natures and enduring stereotypes that developing worldly, but only attempting to elude historically white women are portrayed as models of self-control, honesty, sexual purity, but black women are often portrayed as nearly promiscuous, predatory, the submission, certified by the invisible, the black that believe that blacks were sexually lewd, predation, institutional slavery in American and European travelers to Africa, not scandally led natives, the sounds of semi-nudity was misinterpreted as lewdness, the large and the racial ethnocentrism of the 17th century saw as proven the Africans uncontrolled sex lust, the genesis of anti-black sexual archetypes emerged from right as the Europeans, the black males, and brood of potential rapists of black women as Jezebel, where the English colonists accepted the lesbian image and similar stereotypes justified sending blacks by argument that blacks were some humans in various subjects underdeveloped animal life. Whites use racial sex ideologies to argue that they were alone or were civilized and rational, whereas blacks and other people called barbaric deserve to be subjugated. The idea that black women were naturally and inevitably sexually promiscuous was reinforced by the several features by the slavery institutional slave story. Often stripped naked again as among women and black disability, morality, and sexual understanding, even without nakedness found. But black women, as Jezebel always continues today, black women are prostituted as the same in mainstream movies. As women are willing by predatory sexual deviants who will fulfill all sexual fantasies. It is increasingly easy to find black women depicted as Jezebels whose only value is as sexual commodities. The United States of Reconstruction did not stop their sexual victimization. Black women had little legal abuse was unfree by white men. The portrayal of black women as Jezebel whores began as slavery extended to the Jim Crow period and continues today. The black prostitute movies cutting edge realism reinforce sexual stereotypes of black women as uninhibited whores. And historically, through the subjugation to the dehumanization, objectification, and commodification of women of color, black women are relegated to the other. Patricia O'Connell, 2000. Intersecting oppression of race and class and sexuality cannot continue without our ideological justification of their existence, and their use of every expression of racism to launch multiple assaults against the entire fragment inequality has been consistent to the status quo. Black women have been assaulted over variety of images as part of generalized ideology of domination, stereotypical images of black women who take on especially as elite groups that exercising power, but people the ideas about black women by exploiting already existing symbols or creating new ones. The objective of stereotype is not to reflect or represent reality, but to function as a disguise or mystification of objective social relations. These controlling images are designed to make racism, sexism, poverty, and other forms of social injustice appear to be natural for normal inevitable parts of everyday life. They are also key in maintaining and intersecting oppression of African American women. Science as outsiders becomes a point from which other groups are finding more normality. As the others of society who never really belong to the moral and social order, but they are simultaneously essential for its survival because those individuals who center the the priorities of social society clarify its boundaries and enslave African women became the base of the definition of society as other provides an ideological justification for race, gender, and class oppression. And 3 pillars of white supremacy, Smith, 2010. One pillar of white supremacy is the logic of slavery. This logic renders black people as inherently simple as nothing more than property. That is, blackness becomes equated with civility. The form of slavery may change, but the logic itself has remained consistent. It is anchored in capitalism. The capitalist system ultimately commodifies all workers to keep this capitalist system in place as a logic. And the logic of slavery applies a racial hierarchy to the system. As long as you are not black, you have the opportunity to skip the commodification. As long as the commodification of capitalism and anti-blackness enables people who are not black to accept their lot in the life because they can feel that they are at least they're not at the very bottom of the racial hierarchy. The second pillar of white supremacy is the logic of genocide. Is dialogical that indigenous peoples must disappear. They must always be disappearing in order to enable non-indigenous peoples or rightful claim to land non-native peoples and become the rightful inheritors of all that is what that was indigenous genocide angers colonialism. The third pillar of white supremacy, the logic of Orientalism as a process of white supremacy, white supremacy, the logic of Orientalism as a process of the West finding some of the superior civilization by constructing itself in opposition to the exotic but inferior Orient. The logic of Orientalism are certain people and nations and inferior entities. These people are seen as civilization, they're not property or disappeared, however they are imagined as our primitive or thrust empire. Orientalism serves as an anchor of war because it allows the U.S. to justify being in a constant state of war to protect itself from its enemies. Orientalism allows the U.S. to defend the logics of slavery and genocide as these practices enable to stay strong in their fight these constant wars. In this model, we see that we're not only the victims of white supremacy, but our complicit as well. Our survival strategies and resistance to white supremacy are set by the system of white supremacy itself. What keeps us trapped within our particular pillars of white supremacy is that we are seduced with the prospect of participating in the other pillars. People of color organizing must be premised on making strategic alliances with one another based on where we're situated within a larger political economy. These pillars of investment understand logic surrounding the categories identified so a specific group of people. This people they may be entangled in these larger nations of time and space. Cut the card there and. Solvency. Domination always involves attempts to identify the subordinate group as subjects. The people have the right to define their own reality, establish their own identities, name the history as objects. One reality defined by others, one identity identified, created by others, that defined by others, created by others, named only in ways that define one's relationship to those who are subject. The role of valid is who best performs survival tactics in the resistance of the civil society, and the performance of the one he sees an example of performative pedagogy, which is the most effective means of subverting the political system of white supremacy by approaching the transitions of self and other. And Warren and Passage 2004. Performative pedagogy has grounded in various fields ranging from dance to theater to English communication such as commitment versus more traditions of oral interpretation. The performing eye comes as close, or houses which other records transition themselves into other is a form of knowing, not as a skill for knowing, but a knowing that the engagement is real and not simply pretended to self. Rose and whiteness is so invisible to the perceiving white subject that his own racial identity is effectively other. Thus, the engagement with whiteness is engagement with the other because centralization of itself is understandably workable as engagement, and this process of engagement is work unformed theater. Alone can imagine this productive and engaged set of understanding how power is situated in our lives and our bodies. Our work has been framed by several scholars and performed most clearly by Elise Lamb. I know who Liger argues that performative pedagogy is a trickster pedagogy that offers more ways of framing and defining performative pedagogy, noting that this pedagogical method one might assist in challenging and subverting systems of power such as whiteness. He frames or redefinition educational poetics play process of power and educational poetics of income of education characterized by traditional information discussing into awakening students and framed into an educational enterprise that is a mutable and ongoing ensemble of narratives of performances, educational labor, resituates and pedagogy in the body, asking students and teachers to engage in corporeal play, a mode of experimentation, innovation, critique, and subversion. Educational process, on the other hand, acknowledges that identities are always multiple overlapping ensembles of real and possible themselves who enact themselves and generate relation to contexts and communities in which they perform.
The revolution between my thighs, Israel 2K14. I am that angry black bitch, that strong black woman with them protruding hips. I am akin to that circus freak. I am the Sarah Bartman, the Hottentot Venus. I am the welfare queen. Josephine Baker, Ida B. Wells, I am Hadassah. My partner and I advocate that sexualized bodies should be subjects and not the other through reclamation of agency, where we interrogate history and the ontology of violence against other bodies. Okay.
Now start right for process.
Yeah.
What's the role of the ballot?
The role of the ballot is to determine who provides the best methodology of engaging, resisting civil society in terms of engaging in a survival tactic.
Why should the black female body be solved for first?
Because as stated within the Patricia Collins card, the Patricia Collins card specifically refers back to history where the Europeans went to Africa and saw observed their culture. They particularly mistaken their culture as lewd or sexual based on their appearances, such as not having clothes on, having tribal likeness, etc. So basically,
it's that example of otherization that happens that it's the I think it's the best standpoint, the best first standpoint to examine the way that individuals are othered.
Because this form of otherization stemmed from
Are
Europeans
there
first
other
going to
societies that
Africa.
have been othered in this way?
What, the way that the black woman has through
Yes.
child slavery?
Yeah.
To the extent, I don't think that I would weigh the impact.
So do you claim that solving for black women, because this is the worst instance, solves for every other?
Well, I don't.
We're not advocating that, well, like, it's the worst instance out there. We're not like advocating like,
Or
this
that
is
it's
probably
gonna
the
solve
worst.
for everything.
Yes,
It's
we,
just a blueprint
yes,
that
this-
allows, yeah.
we create this framework, this blueprint, where we can create this resistance to civil society that labels us, that identifies our bodies as the other, right?
How
Like
does
my
your
partner and I are
revolution
labeled
function?
as the other
How
in
does
civil
your
society.
revolution function?
Like the performative pedagogy that we engage in is key to
Does that-
addressing our identity.
Does that do anything outside of this round?
Yes.
Yeah, it allows us, it's a survival tactic to resist civil society.
Okay, so why should the judge go out?
Because,
To ensure that our resistance to civil society is,
and that we survive.
yeah.
So is this only solvency for you, or does this
No,
provide
again,
solvency
as
for
we
the
stated,
judge?
it's a, wait.
This is
Solvency
not
as
just,
a
this is
group.
not just a solvency for us, it's a blueprint that other people, other debaters, or other people can engage and can use, can practice in order to resist.
Or, yeah.
Alright, that's fine, thank you.
Um,
Or,